Okay, in our first video back from Christmas break, we're going to talk about a concept called GCF, probably something hopefully that you've learned in elementary or middle school, I'm not sure, but again, probably something you forgot. Okay, so let's look at just regular numbers and talk about GCF. Now, in class we talked about divisibility rules, and you need to apply those divisibility rules to what we have here. So we're going to look at these two numbers, 12 and 32, and see what they can be divided by. Depending on your head math or how well you know your multiplication tables, this can take you a little longer, maybe a little shorter, again depending on how well you do with those things. First thing I notice is that they're both even. If they're both even, that means they can be divided by 2. So we're going to write a 2 out here, and I'm going to put parentheses. What we're going to do is we're going to show what's left if I divide by 2, because this might take us a few steps. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. 32 divided by 2 is 16. Okay, so we need to go back to our numbers and look at them again to see if we're done or if we need to keep going. So 6 and 16, well, those are both even numbers, which means I can divide by a 2. Okay, so I'm going to take a 2 out here to show that I'm going to divide out a 2. I'm going to show what's left. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Okay, so look at your numbers again, 3 and 8. 3 can only be divided by 3, 8 can't. So we're done. What you do is you take those numbers out here that you divided by, and you're going to multiply them together. So you took out a 2, another 2, so really 2 times 2 is 4, and that is the GCF that you got using 2 steps. Again, some might be able to see the 4 from the beginning, some might not. Either way, it's okay. Alright, so new one here, we've got 45 and 16. So we're going to check the divisibility rules that we talked about. So they're not both even, so they can't be divided by 2. So we're going to check 3. 4 plus 5 is 9, which can be divided by 3, so that works for 3. 1 plus 6 is 7, so that can't be divided by 3. Check, can't be divided, 45 can't be divided by 4. 16 can't be divided by 5. And go through and check in your calculator, see if it can be divided by 6, 7, 8, 9. Just keep going until probably you get up to 16. What you're going to see is they can't be divided by anything. So if they can't be divided by anything at all, it still has a GCF. It's just a 1, because that's the only thing that can go into both those numbers. Alright, so two numbers here. We've got 72 and 24. They are both even, which means they can be divided by 2. If you check for divisibility by 3, it will also work. But since 2 works, let's go ahead and start there, because that's where most of you are probably going to go. So you write a 2 outside, and on the inside we write what you get when you divide. So 72 divided by 2 is 36. Use your calculator if you need to. 24 divided by 2 is 12. Okay? So then you've got to look at these numbers again. Okay, see if you're done or if you need to keep going. They're both even, which means they can be divided by 2 again. 36 divided by 2 is 18. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Okay, keep looking at your numbers to see how far they can go. You've got to keep going until they can't be divided anymore. 18 is even, 6 is even, so it can be divided by 2 again. So here's an advantage if you're good with your head math, it won't take you as many steps. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Let's check our numbers again. 9 and 3. 9 and 3 can both be divided. Let me change to purple here. I'm running out of colors. 9 and 3 can both be divided by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So all in the parentheses is what you have left once you divide. So you divided out all of these numbers from 72 and 24. So to get your GCF, you take all of those numbers and you multiply them together. You take out a 2, another 2, a 2 again, and a 3. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 3 is 24. So that is the GCF of those numbers. As you can see, that one took a little bit of steps. It's going to be different with each problem. Alright, new one. Here we go. We've got 3 numbers. 3 numbers works the same way, but has to work with all 3 numbers. So the first thing I notice is that they're not all even. I always check there first. I start with 2 and I move on to 3. I check, 4, 5. Just go in order. It helps you not forget what to check them. So I'm going to check 3. 1 plus 5 is 6. That works for 3. 4 plus 2 is 6. That works for 3. 2 plus 7 is 9. So they can all be divided by 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 42 divided by 3 is 14. And 27 divided by 3 is 9. Double check your numbers again. Okay, 5 can only be divided by 5. 14 can't. So that means we're done. So your GCF of this one is 3. Some take more steps, some not so much. Alright, last one. Let me change back to red. Stands out. Has to work for all 3 numbers. Okay, so this one they're all even. Again, some people are going to start with the simple and go with 2. Some might see that, hey, they can be divided by 4. Or they can't. You just kind of have to play around and get used to it. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 54 divided by 2 is 27. 36 divided by 2 is 18. Okay? 4 can be divided by 2, but 27 can't. 4 can be divided by 4, 27 can't. So since it can't work for all the numbers, we're done. So the GCF of that number is just 2. 2 works for all 3 of those. Good luck, and ask me questions if you need to.